Robert Dubois. He's in prison for putting Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite bullet.
When supervillains Harley Quinn, Bloodsport, Peacemaker, a collection of nutty cons at Belle Reve Prison join the super secret, super shady Task Force X as they are dropped off at the remote enemy-infused island Corto Maltese.
But first, before we really get into general impressions, we gotta talk about some background because this history of this franchise is a roller coaster, absolute roller coaster. And I think to best illustrate this, we got to go back to the beginning. We got to go back to the 2016 Suicide Squad.
Yep.
So Andrew, just tell us the history.
Basically, with this shit, so David Ayer was the director of the original Suicide Squad, and he's known for writing things like Training Day, or wrote and directed movies like End of Watch, Fury, which are, pretty decent, pretty good. He also directed Bright, but we're not talking about that shit.
Yeah, let's leave that for another day.
Fairy lives don't matter today.
But so far, like, what he's known for is just very gritty crime dramas, and like he seemed like a perfect fit for at least what Warner Brothers wanted to do with their DC properties, which is like to copy the success of the Dark Knight formula of making things like ultra dark, ultra gritty. Hell yeah.
There's no hope, brother.
Like that's like he was brought onto the project, was brought on to write and direct, but the caveat is he was only given 6 weeks to write the script. And if you're thinking like, is that enough time to write a script? Hell no.
No.
That is not enough fucking time to write a script.
Not at all.
Let alone a good, decent one. You're basically going on a first draft.
If you're fast enough, it's a first draft, but it's nowhere near the amount of time you need to really flesh out a script, especially for something that's as big as a DC property.
Yeah. And so he basically filmed what he got, and you can tell his original vision was like a David Ayer movie, a gritty crime drama, because there's that like early Comic-Con trailer. That's like ultra serious. The lighting is like darker, and basically, fast forward, Warner Brothers releases the first official trailer. It's all bright, happy, neon colored. So at that point, the Warner Brothers marketing team, like fresh off the release of Batman v Superman, and how like the reviews like dogged on that movie for being like ultra dark and too serious. And basically they saw the David Ayer cut and it was like, oh shit, fuck, this is also dark and serious. And we were just released a trailer that was like super fun and happy and had fucking Queen music. What the fuck? This is not the movie that we were promising to sell. So what they did was they did test screenings. They did one test screening with the David Ayers cut. They did a competing. They got the people who edited the first trailer. They had those people edit their own version of the film. They test both out to test audiences. Both got fucking trashed. They got their asses raked. Both cuts did.
Oh,
so Warner Brothers. Yeah. So what Warner Brothers decided to do was they decided to go back, do a bunch of reshoots, and then the final product of that Suicide Squad movie was the product of David Ayer's cut, the Trailer House cut, and the reshoots, and they all smashed and crammed that shit together.
Oh no, they fused it. Oh
yeah, they fused it all together, thinking it would work.
That explains a lot. That really explains a lot now.
And if you're thinking like, I don't know how film like editing post-production goes. I don't really know how films get made. Is that normal? Once again, fuck no, that's not normal. No movie gets made that way. The final product, yeah, it's not a good movie. Not at all. It's pretty fucking broken. But it did really well financially, like really fucking well. So the studio went, well, fucking enough money to warrant a sequel. But let's put a pause on all of that, and let's go to the opposite lot. Let's go to Disney. So on the Disney side of things, we had Guardians of the Galaxy director James Gunn. Now, trigger warning for depending on where you lean politically. James Gunn, surprisingly, is a fucking liberal and a hardcore liberal, where he would constantly talk shit about Donald Trump all the goddamn day on Twitter. And because of that, a bunch of right-wing trolls spearheaded by this one website founder, I don't even know the dude's name, but he's got so pissed up that he was making fun of Trump and like calling out Trump all day. And so he just like, you know what? Fuck you, James Gunn, and started digging through his past tweets and brought them to the surface. And Disney did the knee-jerk reaction and fired him on the spot because those tweets, even though to me they completely read as someone who's trying like too hard to be funny, they weren't the greatest look to have. With Disney firing him from Guardians 3, James Gunn was now a free agent, and on that day, fucking red alert sounded off at Warner Brothers like, oh shit, James Gunn's is free, boys, let's get him. And so they approached him with the offer that he couldn't refuse, which was, hey, see all this fucking DC treasure trove we've got? Do whatever the fuck you want with anything. Like, we don't give a fuck what it is. You want to do Superman? You got Superman. You want to do fucking Batman? You got Batman. What do you want? Fucking what do you want to do?
We'll take care of you. Hey,
Yeah, we take care of you.
take care of James Gunn. Give him what he wants.
And with that, chose to do Suicide Squad. So I thought this fucking shit slapped. What do you think, Byron?
Oh, dude, this shit was awesome. This was, I saw it in a theater, and I had a great time with this. This was a blast to watch.
This to me is what the first movie should have been.
Exactly, yeah, and I feel like with this movie, it's sort of like it went, all right, I'm gonna do some of the stuff the 2016 Suicide Squad did, and we're gonna just do it way better.
But overall, let's get into the nitty gritty here. First off, I'll have to say, the acting really fucking good. Well, fuck it, let's just get out the first one out of the way. Idris Elba, fucking good. He's Idris Elba. What do you want? He's fucking.
Yeah, dude. Idris Elba is like, dude. If you see him, you're like, I'm gonna like this. This dude's a badass, and anything he's in, no exception. Especially his Bloodsport, dude. Side note: his costume. I feel like the costuming in general really knocked that out of the park. But his suit was like badass. I was like, oh shit, I want his helmet. If they ever make a replica helmet, I'm getting that one 100%.
Oh yeah, Margot Robbie. Fucking like, I think there's an argument to be made. She's joined the ranks of like a Robert Downey Jr. or like a Hugh Jackman.
Oh yeah, like she's like at this point.
Yeah, like as a person who's like the most accurate like portrayal, like that like I can't think of anyone else who could be her at this point in time.
Yeah, and her Harley Quinn gets better with every film that she's in. And this version is like, this is the best we've seen of her yet. She's great. She does a lot of cool stuff in this movie, and I think James Gunn really did her well in terms of like her like some of the comedy stuff and kind of well balanced like with the action stuff and kind of showing how far her character progression has come. It's pretty good. I like it.
Moving on. I was really shocked with John Cena. Like, I knew he could pull off the comedy because I've seen him be funny and other shit. But, like, usually his, like, dramatic stuff has been the weaker side of things. But in this, when he gets dramatic, it's actually believable, at least to me.
Oh, dude, John Cena knocked it out of the park. I mean, he was, even though, how his character kind of ends up towards the end of the film, like, I still liked him as a character. I was like, this is great. I can't wait to see, where
Peacemaker show.
Yeah, where they take him. I'm like, he knocked it out of the park. Like him and another one. I'll say King Shark, I think were my two absolute favorites in this movie. It was awesome to see them.
With Sylvester Stallone voicing King Shark, there were multiple scenes with him that I think I laughed harder at because I'm picturing Sylvester Stallone in a sound booth saying these certain lines.
New dumb friends.
I think, God, there's so much like so many characters and so many actors that are dude. Like Viola Davis, I think is better in this movie than the last one. She's truly an evil, psychotic bitch.
She is just awful, but she's also really fucking funny because let me tell you something. I feel like one of the really, really good parts of this film was not only Amanda Waller, but like her like little bureaucratic team. Oh my
Yep.
dude, I was laughing my ass off whenever like they came on.
Like, oh my God, like more so this movie, you really get the sense that these fuckers are expendable. Like they are legit being used as cannon fodder.
Oh,
Because
especially the first 10 minutes. Oh, Jesus Christ, was that a brutal 10-15 minutes.
deaths are super fucking well done in this movie. Like, oh my
yeah.
God. Like there is like this movie is so fucking gory. I fucking loved it.
Here's the thing, even though it was gory, it was not senseless. Like the gore made sense. It had purpose. It was like, okay, this makes sense. Why
Yeah, when
pretty-
you get fucking ripped in half by a shark, man, you're gonna have fucking guts spilling everywhere.
Yeah, or if you get fucking chopped up by helicopter blades, it's not gonna look pretty.
And the tagline is "Don't get too attached." But
Yeah.
God damn it. Like some of those deaths fucking hurt.
And here's the thing, it's really hard to not get attached because he does a great job. Here's the thing, James Gunn is just he's just really good at making ensemble cast films or team based films, and you just can't help but like a lot of these characters.
Like fucking I couldn't give a shit beforehand about fucking Ratcatcher or Polka Dot Man or even fucking Rick Flag, but god damn. Going off of that, a big, huge improvement, especially coming off the first movie. We already kind of hinted at it, how the first movie looked ugly as shit. The cinematography and use of color in this movie, especially the camera work, oh my god, it is fucking leagues above. Like, from the opening shot of the movie, like, my immediate thought was like, oh yeah, I'm in good hands. Like, this movie is gonna be fucking good.
Yeah, I think some of my favorite sequences was a lot of the stuff they shot in Panama for Corto Maltese, especially the rain. So those rain sequences, I'm like, wow, this looks pretty nice. It's pretty gorgeous.
There's an
and-
action scene with Harley that was also really fucking good.
That was badass, man, and just the way that he played with a lot of the visuals, you kind of see it in the trailer. But the visuals of that and the choreography was and all the stuff and it's all Margot Robbie doing it. It's all her. So that's always going to be brownie points for me. If an actor does it themselves, love that.
Yeah, if you're not like Tom Cruise, if you don't want to strap yourself to a fucking train, if you don't want to go to fucking space, if you don't want to fucking try to drown yourself for 9 minutes, fuck you. You're fucking hack.
Don't
Like,
do that
fuck,
shit.
fuck stuntman. Risk your life, bitch. This is fucking art. Well, you're talking about visuals. I'm bringing up CGI because I don't know how you felt. I think this is the first time in a long ass time in a major like blockbuster movie where I think the fucking CGI is pretty much flawless.
Really?
Yeah, what? Like, why? Did you think some things looked a bit wonky?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really like paying attention to the CGI. I think just because of how crazy and gory and wild it was that I wasn't really kind of focusing on the CGI.
Like, nothing to me at least made it seem like it was fucking like Mark Ruffalo's like wiggly head in Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, my thing with CGI is that like I feel like you gotta use it only when you absolutely need to. And I did get the sense from this that it was like, oh, they overuse CGI. I think for the most part, there was it's mainly practical, and actually some of the stuff that I thought was CGI, or at least 100% CGI, was only really like 30%, and everything, and it was just
like
kind
a lot of the Sebastian the Rat sequences.
Yeah,
if I'm If I'm understanding correctly, a lot of that was way more practical than we're led to believe.
And yeah, obviously for a lot of the bigger elements, yeah, you definitely needed CGI for that. And it wasn't like anything where I was like, oh, this looks pretty bad. Like it was like, oh yeah, this seems pretty decent. So yeah, I don't think problem with the amount of CGI they used. It looked all pretty practical to me. So yeah, it's a good amount.
Also, shout out to the fucking title cards in this movie. They're fucking creative as shit. And also shout out to the use of music, not just the original like song choices, needle drops, which were handled way better in this movie than they were in the fucking previous movie. But the actual score done by John Murphy, like, cause he's got that soundtrack is like really like guitar driven, and there were some really standout parts with the original score. Let's get into some stuff that's outside this movie's control. Let's talk about the fucking box office now. People are like fucking freaking the fuck out about Suicide Squad's box office.
This was a very interesting development that's been taking place since the release of this film. So to kind of give clarification, the film did not do that great at the box office. So I'm gonna look it up real quick. Yes, so it made 26 million its opening weekend, and I think that was not even enough to cover its budget. Because 26.5 million is not a very good number for an opening.
Also add in the extra 100 million that Warner Brothers spent in marketing.
Yes. And yeah, so the budget was 185 million. So okay, so they made just a little bit over it, but still not very good numbers. But yes, it did not do well at the box office. And then Twitter started blowing up. A lot of Snyderverse fans were very happy that this film did not do well because let me tell you, Snyderverse fans, they have a revenge, they have a bloodlust going out for Warner Brothers right now. They're not very happy with the studio, and their general consensus was like, yeah, fuck Warner Brothers, fuck James Gunn, give us the Ayer cut. We demand to see the Ayer cut because we know that version is superior, and this is going to teach Warner Brothers that they should only let Zack Snyder have control of the DC universe. And that's kind of what's happening. And there's a lot of people fighting about it on Twitter. That's kind of been the big thing post release. But yes, Andrew, why don't you give me your hot take on this whole situation?
First off, with the fucking David Ayer cut and Snyder Cut fans, Snyder Cut fans, shut the fuck up. You guys are so in the fucking minority. How many fucking times does Warner Brothers have to tell you fuckers to shut the fuck up? It's never gonna fucking happen. They have no interest in doing it. They don't want to do the Ayer cut. David Ayer is now, he's on record saying he doesn't want to do the Ayer cut anymore. He wants to move on. So move the fuck on.
So, bashing James Gunn and just getting all mad because Snyderverse isn't happening is just not going to really do anything. It's just kind of a pointless thing. I feel like because they got Snyder Cut, now they're like, ooh,
it's like you give them a rope, they want the fucking ocean, or wherever that one saying is. Or you give them like a foot, they want a mile. Something like that, right?
Yeah, it's like, give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Yeah, or something
Yep. That's it.
A lot of people are saying, like, we'll see, because it did so bad at the box office, that's proof that only Snyderverse films work for Warner Brothers.
First of all, Aquaman, which is like, you could say is part of Snyderverse, but at the same time, like, Snyder already departed by that time. So I consider Aquaman in this new era of DC. That made a fucking $1 billion. Like, what the fucking do? There's your fucking argument against that. Joker, not a part of Snyderverse. Fucking $1 billion. So Snyderverse people, fucking, again, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're fucking talking about. Second of all, with this box office thing of like, can you believe Suicide Squad is bombing? It's like, we're in the middle of a fucking pandemic where there's a huge fucking resurgence. No movie is making money at the box office. And two, it's fucking free on HBO Max if you have the subscription. why are
Thanks.
people so fucking blown away by like, how can the box office be so fucking low? I don't know any of those fucking reasons that I just pointed out to you that are external factors.
And I think another argument too was like, well, you see, like Godzilla came out during a pandemic and it did well at the box office, and I'm like,
Well, yeah, like there was like people were getting vaccinated left and right. Like everything was on the uptick by then.
yeah,
We're in
there was
fucking
no,
hell now.
yeah, there was no Delta, Lambda, Gamma, Delta Plus variant at this point in time. So yeah, of course people were doing that, and um, even then it was like, yeah, not everybody was going to the box or going to the theater then. Like I watched Godzilla at home with a couple of friends.
But anyway, yeah, final thoughts. I fucking love this movie. This is Andrew approved. I could fucking tell you that right now.
This was a lot of fun. My final thoughts, man, this was a blast to watch. Um, Everybody was just on point. This is like a near perfect movie for me. It and they just knocked it out of the park. And not everything about it was perfect, but man, the stuff that I didn't like was very just minuscule. This is something that you just gotta watch with your friends. Go to a theater, have some fun with it. Watch it at HBO Max. Give your support to this because we need more stuff like this. If
Uh-huh.
James Gunn can make Polka Dot Man and King Shark and Bloodsport like really likable characters, it's like, man, who knows what he could do, in future projects.
Uh-huh.
And man, let me tell you something. Like, if they give me this team, the specific team again in another movie, I will be there day one because I like watching these guys. They're great. Love it.
Uh-huh.
Byron approved.
And that's where I'm ending it. Goodbye.